It begins in the shadows of empire, where the cries of a forgotten people rise up under the weight of whips and stone. The Israelites, once honored guests in Egypt, had become its slaves. Generations born into bondage, building the very monuments of Pharaoh, while their prayers seemed lost in the desert wind. But heaven was listening, and from the least likely of places, a deliverer was born. Moses was drawn from the Nile, raised in Pharaoh's palace, dressed in royal linen, but haunted by the suffering of his people. When he could bear it no longer, he struck down an Egyptian oppressor and fled into exile. For 40 years, Moses disappeared into the silence of the wilderness, until one day, amidst the sands of Mount Horeb, a bush burned with fire but was not consumed. From within the flame, the voice of God called out, "I have heard their cry. I have seen their misery. Now, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of Egypt." Moses resisted. He stuttered. He doubted. But God does not choose the mighty, He makes them. With his brother Aaron beside him, Moses returned to Egypt, not as a prince, but as a prophet. Standing before Pharaoh, he spoke with power not his own. "Let my people go," Pharaoh scoffed. Who was this shepherd to defy a god-king? But God answered Pharaoh, not with words, but with wonders. The Nile turned to blood. Frogs, gnats, and flies invaded every home. Livestock died, boils spread, hail rained like fire, and darkness swallowed the land. Each plague broke another piece of Egypt's pride. And then came the final blow: the death of every firstborn. That night, the Israelites marked their doors with lamb's blood, and death passed over them. Wailing filled the streets of Egypt, and Pharaoh, at last, gave the command, "Go." What followed was not just a departure, it was a deliverance. Over 600,000 Israelites walked out of Egypt, guided by a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. But Pharaoh's heart turned once more. With his army thundering behind them and the sea before them, the people were trapped. Panic surged. But Moses lifted his staff, and the sea split in two. Walls of water rose up, a path through the impossible. The Israelites crossed on dry ground. When the Egyptians followed, the waters collapsed. The might of Egypt was buried beneath the waves, and a free nation stood on the other side. This was more than a story of escape. It was a story of faith forged in fire, of a leader shaped by humility, and a people learning to walk not just out of slavery, but into purpose. The Exodus is a reminder. Even when we are cornered by fear, when the past chases us and the future looks like a sea with no end, God makes a way. If this story stirred something in you, don't let it end here. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to believe again in miracles. Subscribe for more timeless stories that shape the world. And drop a comment. What would you do if God told you to lead a nation?